Hello and welcome back to part 12 of how to make a HexTile board game in Unreal Engine. In the last video, we kind of continued along with our battle mechanics. So you can attack, both players can notify the attack, and when we begin the battle, these dice spawn and we capture those rolls and we'll add that into the combat power. So this is where we left off. Where I want to start with first is doing a little bit of a bug cleanup. So I'll kind of show you what I mean. We select this army, we come into attack. We can move, well, I guess in the preview it doesn't really matter, but really when this HUD's up, I don't want anything else to happen. So I think what we'll do is we'll make a variable within our player controller. We'll call this indecision, question mark. And so basically, we'll probably use this later on as well. But anytime we do something that requires us to do something with a widget or whatever else, it's going to prohibit us from doing other things. So let's see here. I think we're going to kind of add this into a lot of our different actions. So here's like removing units to tile. I don't want this to be able to happen if we are in a decision. So we'll drag this as a get and we'll do not. So basically is this will return true if this is not true, if that makes sense. This is basically a false. So if this variable is not true, then this branch is true, and then we continue on. I know it's a little confusing, but the not basically reverses it. You could just do it out the false, but because I have OCD with this kind of stuff, I like the straight line. And that's really the only reason I'm doing it that way. And this server event triggers up here, so this should be sufficient. One thing with this variable too, let's make this replicated. And attack should be able to happen. This stuff is fine. The add a selected unit, that's going to be something that, right, because what we can do right now is go into this battle and then grab this guy and add him in, and obviously we don't want that to happen. You got to select your units prior to the battle starting. So we'll take this same logic and just drop that down here. Let's move this up a little bit. Okay. So this will prevent us from adding units. We should probably actually do it the same for the removing units. Basically, this will operate as kind of locking in things. Unless you, like, if you withdraw from the battle, then we'll trigger this back as false. Add unit selected tile. Where does this come from again? Selected unit check. Okay, we'll just do this here too. So I think this will make a little bit sense where I show you where we're setting this, and then we kind of debug a little bit. In this event, where does this one come from? From here, and we already have that check. Okay. Spacebar, we can leave that alone for now, and turn. These all trigger off the above. Okay, perfect. So then what we will do is it's going to our game mode, because I think this will actually make the most sense to maybe set this stuff. Because the game mode always operates on the server. So when we attack a tile, is that the one? Where's the, I'm trying to remember where we did the battle preview. Let me get rid of some of this junk we got up here. There's battle preview. Okay, a battle preview is done here. Okay, so maybe we'll actually do this on the player controller side. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to think through as I do this what the best way to do this is. So when we attack a tile, oops, make sure I select all this, move this over. So when we attack a tile, we'll set this decision to true.
Here's what I found.
Siri's going crazy. So what this will do is when we decide to attack a tile, we'll now be locked into a decision, and that will prevent us from moving units, selecting other units, and we can use these checks later on. And so that'll work for the initiator of the attack. Sheet with attack server. I think that comes from, yeah, now let's go back into our game mode. Okay, so then when we have the preview and we decide to attack, we run this logic in our game mode, get the strength, and then to the player controllers, do the battle begin client. I don't know if we have to necessarily do anything else because let's just test this out. I think this should fix a lot of our problems. So grab this unit, go to attack, and now we shouldn't be able to move anywhere else. Good. And, oh, the selection is working though. It's partially working. It's not actually working on the player controller, but it is working in the unit. So let's open up our BP unit master. Yeah, because we have on, clicked. Okay, so what we'll do here is we have a check here that is a player controller that's clicking this unit. Does it belong? Is it the owner, essentially? We can also grab off of this and do decision. And again, we want this to be not. So is this not true? And for this branch, let's drag this over, we'll come off this and do an and. So both of these have to be true in order to select the unit. So the player controller clicking the unit has to be the owning player controller, and they cannot be in a decision. I think that should work. So now let's test this again. Grab him. Now we can't do anything else until we come out of this. Then we can attack and begin the battle, and then we'll build off of this, and what this will do is then we'll unset that variable after the battle resolution is done. Cool. Another thing I want to clean up quick is when let's go into our game mode. Or not our game mode. Okay, this battle dice roll server. So we'll run an event off of here to our game mode to then remove that HUD, that kind of what do we call it? Battle begin widget. We'll remove that from everybody. Then we'll get the dice roll, and then we'll populate a new widget, which we'll call like battle. The result, basically, and we'll cast that. So let's go back into our game mode, and we'll just do a custom event, and call this remove battle begin widgets. And for this should be pretty simple. We'll just grab our player controllers, do a for each loop, and let's go back into our player controller. let's add another custom event. And let's see. Just do like remove battle begin widget. This will be replicated to run on the owning client only. We'll do reliable. And what we'll do is with this battle begin client widget, similar to what we did with the preview, we'll want to make a variable out of this. So right click here, promote the variable, and we'll call this battle begin widget. And we'll connect this and pass this through to here. Move that there. Okay. And then what we'll do here is we'll drag this out as a get, do a validated get. So if this is valid, remove from parent, and that will remove it. We'll come back into our game mode, and we'll call it remove battle begin. Remove battle begin widget. Cool. And the other thing I want to do is let's test this out. So this should get rid of all of our widgets. So he attacks, attack, begin. Didn't, because why? Oh, we're not calling it. So back in our player controller, remove battle begin widgets. So when we start to roll the dice, remove battle begin widgets. We'll run this event in our game mode. Now this should work. And attack, begin, widgets are gone. And so the next thing I want to do is I want to do something where all the player controller cameras will kind of automatically move to a place where they can see the dice roll. So let's work on that next. So the way I want to do this is I think we'll use a cinematic camera. So top left, right, type in cin, we'll grab this camera. So this is a camera that the player controllers I think can possess. At least that's the plan. And basically when everything spawns in, we will one second, I'm trying to figure out why this is so weird. I can't rotate it. Okay, so just one quick note. Where was that button I just clicked? Yeah, so there's world and local. So as you can see, when I rotate this, when it's in world rotation, like I can't adjust it on the way it's looking. If you click this to local, this will work. So basically in the bottom right is what the camera view will be. So what I want to have happen is when we roll the dice, everybody kind of looks to this camera and sees the roll. So what I'm going to do is, let's just drag this plate out quick as a static mesh. We'll delete this after, but I just want to use this as the reference. So the plate will kind of spawn like this. And so then we want this camera to have a nice view of the plate. We need this to kind of look down. This back. And I think, yeah, maybe something like this. I mean, you can kind of work on making this look a little bit prettier, but I think this should be sufficient. What we could do actually is maybe bring this in a little bit more and have kind of more of a top-down view. Take this again. Kind of want to see the dice drop though, so I want a little bit of this. Okay, I think this will be fine, and maybe we can tweak this later. Let's call this like die roll cine camera. Whoa, what did I do? There we go. Die roll cine camera. Okay, I figured out how to do this. So I've actually never done this before, so I was just kind of experimenting around, but this actually works pretty well. So with our camera, what we need to do is in blueprints, open up the level blueprint. So this is where we're calling our begin event to spawn die and everything. So what you do is in the editor, grab your die, left click hold, bring that into the level blueprint, and now we have a reference to it in here. And from here, what we can do is actually set the view target for the player controller. So the first thing we want to do though is we actually want to create a binding. So what tells that inevitable action to happen? So in our game mode, we'll do something similar in our event dispatcher where we have the spawn die. So we'll create a new event dispatcher. We'll call this PC to cine camera, cine cam die, or maybe to die roll can, something like that. And we'll drag off this and we'll call it. And we'll call it at the end of our remove battle widget. So this is what initiates the die roll gets initiated in the same sequence of events. So we'll just call that here. I think, right? Because we do the die roll, remove all the die. Yeah, and then we call the event in the game mode to spawn the die. And then we do the remove battle widgets, or battle begin widgets, and then that'll call this. So back to our level blueprint, off of our GM turn-based, type in bind event to PC to die roll camera. And I'm going to drag this way over. Give ourselves some space and do some reroute nodes. Okay. And then we'll create a custom event. Let's call this PC to die cam. And hook that up there. And then from here, what we need to do is get all actors of class. And what we want to get is our PC turn-based. This will return all of the player controllers in the game. I'll do it for each loop. Connect that here. And we'll grab our camera reference. And then I think it's add to set view target with blend. Set view target. Let's see, view target. Oh, let's do that off the array element. Set view target with blend. There we go. So basically this is whose view is going to be set and what do we want to set it with. We want to set it with the camera. I set the blend time by default is 0. I'll show you what this does. We'll actually get this set up like this. Basically it's just like, do you want to immediately move the camera or kind of slowly? We'll do an immediate snap for this for now. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I think this should work. So let's open this up. Oh, let me delete this plate. Okay, so let's grab our army, move into attack, begin the battle. Now both cameras flip over to the dice and they can see the roll. So I think that is a pretty cool way to do this. And then what we'll do is after the roll die is complete, then we'll set their view back to where they were. But I'll show you quick what this looks like with the blend. And this would be do a blend of say 2 seconds. And do this again. Attack, begin battle. I think that actually looks pretty cool. The only issue that can come from this potentially is if like this guy is kind of way over here looking here further away. Let's just see if he misses. Yeah, actually I kind of like that blend. I think that looks pretty good. Good. So now I'm going to get our camera back. We won't need our level blueprint anymore. Let So let me remember how we're doing this. Let's go to our die. So then our die, get the dice roll, and we run this event to the game mode, the die roll, and then run this to delay to remove it. So I think within here, let's drag all this over. So this is in our game mode now, our die roll. We'll run the event from here, kind of resetting our camera. So let's go into our event graph and just make a custom event. This is in the game mode, and we'll just call it like reset PC camera. And in our die roll, we'll call this event reset PC camera. Just kind of reroute some of this stuff. Okay, and so what we'll do from here is pretty similar to above. Grab our PC list, do a for each loop. And then within our player controller, let's make a custom event. Call this reset PC camera. And what we'll do is set view target with blend. But now our new blend target be get pawn. So it'll just be the pawn, which our pawn is, it's really nothing. It's what we're moving around with. Doesn't really even have any components, but this will work. Basically gets us back to where we were before. We'll do a blend target of 1. And for this reset PC camera, we want this to be replicated, run on owning client, and reliable. And then back into our game mode, call this event reset PC camera. Boom. Okay, I think this should work. Let's give it a try. So grab our army, attack, begin. First sees the dice come down. Good. Cool. And now we can actually work on the battle resolution. So let's go into our dice roll. So right now we're getting the roll and we're setting these. Get rid of these print strings. And so the way we want to do this is, again, we'll project another widget, and it will add in these buffs. So let's close out of some of this stuff. Let's go back into our widgets, and we'll duplicate this again because it'll be pretty similar. Widget. And we'll call this battle resolution widget. And let's open this up. And so in this, I don't think we need any buttons right now. Let's remove that. So we have this vert box, and don't need this. Okay, so looks like we have 2 columns of vertical boxes under this horizontal box. Okay, so what we'll do should be pretty simple. We'll copy this horizontal box, the attacker strength, etc. We'll drop this on this side. So this will be our attacker die roll. And we'll copy this again. And this will be our total attack power, or strength, whatever you want to call it. And let's copy both of these and drop these on the other side. This will be defense die roll and total defense power. And I want this to look a little bit cleaner, so I think let's grab all of these, and if we do these as fill with a left guess it doesn't really matter. Let's grab these, and these are already set on fill, but let's do a horizontal line right, and let's just add in a little padding. Something like that. There. That just cleans this up, makes it look a little bit nicer. And now we'll need variables. So we have attacker strength, defender strength, and these don't have any binding. So let's go into the graph. And we'll add some integers. So this one will be attacker die roll. And just like our attacker and defender strength, we want these to be instance editable, so it wasn't spawned. We'll duplicate that, call this defender die roll, and total attacker strength, and total defender strength. File save. These should all be instance editable, expose on spawn. And then back in our designer, we'll bind these texts. So this will be our attacker die roll, total attacker strength, defender die roll, and total defender strength. And then we'll make this text a little bit bigger. And instead of italic, just bold, and like 32 or something. Since this will be the main one, make these ones a little bit bigger too. 32. Ooh, not that big. 2.4. Let's grab both of these and reduce the padding. There. I think that'll be fine. So now we'll need to create this widget. So let's think about how we're going to do this. These get set from the die roll. I think let's make another function, and we'll just call this battle resolution. So first thing we want to do is we have our attacker armor strength, get, and then our attacker die roll. This plus this, we'll make this a variable, call this total attacker strength. So those two together will obviously equal our total strength. We'll do the same with our defender. Defender, and promote the variable, total defender strength. We'll set that here. And from here, we'll grab our PC list for each loop. And then within our player controller, we'll have to create another function for the widget. So custom event. And this will be battle resolution. Client, and replicated run on owning client, reliable, and from here we will create a widget. This will be our battle resolution. And for owning player, that will just be self. And the isAttacker, I don't think we need that variable anymore. So let's delete this, and this in the resolution widget. and remove this variable. And just do a refresh all nodes quick. Okay, so we will just pass all of these variables through. This maybe up there. And we'll promote this to a variable. This will be our battle resolution widget. And add to viewport. And let's go back into our game mode. And now we can run the, what do we call it? Battle resolution client. And then start passing all of this stuff through. So we have our attacker, player, controller. So here we can get the name. Defending player, controller, get the name. And let's see, you can just grab this stuff from over here, copy, paste. So it goes attacker strength, defender strength, attacker die roll, defender roll, and then get our total attack strength and total defender strength. And pass all of these through. Okay, let's test this. So 3 and a 2. Did not run. Why didn't this run? Because we never called it. So go back into the game mode, and in our die roll, we want this battle resolution. Both of these can pass through. Alright, let's try this again. Same defender. 1 second, I just want to try this again. We've got kind of a weird roll. It logged as 0, but I didn't actually get to see if that was correct. So we had a couple weird things going on. Keep kind of playing around with this. It looks like they're. Let me play around with this. It looks like we're getting some duplicate widgets. I'm not sure where that's coming from, so I'll be right back. Okay, so the issue is we're kind of set up like this, and there's a couple issues actually. But what's happening is we're getting 2 rolls. So this battle resolution is getting called twice. For each player controller, so we're having duplicate widgets. And sometimes if the attacker roll, we get the roll first, that would run. We haven't got the defender roll yet, so this would be a 0. So overall, just a mess. So let's delete this. And we're going to call this somewhere else. And we want to call this after the die roll. So with the die roll here, which runs back to the game mode. And then we call this reset player or PC camera. I'm going to rename this event, and we're just going to call this battle resolution. Battle resolution event. So this will still do the reset the PC camera, but what I want to do instead here is we want to call the battle resolution, this is fine, this battle resolution function in this string, and in the front of this I'm just going to do a little delay of 0.5 seconds. So what this will do is when the die finishes rolling, we run the die roll number, and that passes to the game mode and sets the rolls. But prior to setting the rolls, we do this battle resolution event. So this delay will just give a little bit of time for this part to finish up, and then we'll reset the player camera, and then we'll run the battle resolution function, which actually set the text, and then stimulate the event to make the widget. So now let's try this again. Attack, battle. Okay, we're getting the same information. I didn't do a good job looking at the die though, so let me try this again. So we should have a 0, 0. Okay, that looks good. Let's try it again. I want to get something other. I want to get actual numbers to make sure the math is working. Okay, should be 3, 3. Okay, and this defense die roll isn't coming through. So let me check this. Okay, I found the issue. So within our BP die, we have our die type, which is instanceable and exposed on spawn. So when the die spawns, we set this. The problem is when we're doing our die roll and we're sending this information to the game mode, we didn't actually plug this variable in. So every roll was returning as the attacker die, which isn't correct. So let's bring this variable up and plug that in here. And now the game mode will know, is this the attacker die or the defender die? Whereas before, both are running on the attacker side. So now let's try this again. Attack, begin. And 2, 1, and that looks good. And the math seems to be working. So then in this case, the defender would win. And now we just got to figure out how we want to do this. I think we'll do that in the next video. But what will happen now is, we'll go a couple different ways with this, right? Like it could be total destruction of these units, or maybe some sort of routing component. So I don't know, I'm going to think on how I want to do this. I mean, most simply, it would be, right, both of these units get destroyed, and this army occupies the tile. But that becomes pretty hardcore, where you just get armies absolutely mopped. I think what I might think about is like another dice that would roll and determine how many casualties there are. You know, so maybe there's a 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, and 3 for a full wipe. That might be a more fun way to do this. So I think I'll do that, but for now we'll stop it here, and we have all of the logic done basically for battles. We'll finish in the next video, and then I think what we'll do after that is start working on like some of the objective stuff. So let me get rid of some of these widgets. The way this game's going to work is if you hold, at any point you control 2 of the 3 sacred sites, I'm calling them, but just kind of capture points, you win the game. So we'll start building in the logic. Right now, you can move there, occupy it, and it's owned, but we want the game mode to know it's owned, and then do a check that if you own 2 at any point, That will be the end of the game. And then the other piece I want to do is recruitment and some of the econ stuff. So like this farm will give you some resources. This mine will give you some resources every round. And then you can build units in the keep to get more units and armies. So that'll be some of the stuff we do in the coming videos. And then we'll round the whole series off with actually building like a main menu and some of the multiplayer, host a session, join a session, and that'll really be it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment below if you have any issues. Thanks.